The farmer has to be an optimist or expectant. Otherwise, he wouldn't still be a farmer. But you see, optimism or expectancy alone doesn't pay your bills. Careful management of costs does. Vegetable gardening can be an excessively costly venture if you're not deliberate about following up on how and why your money is spent on the different activities that are involved in your garden. Most beginner farmers that start their vegetable garden business find most of the time spending more money than expected. They have budgets laid down, but the expenditures seem more than what is written down on paper. And interestingly, some are just at the start of their growth, but have already spent half the stipulated budget. They'll spend more money than what is in the budget, yet they've just started. And they keep wondering where they'll get more of the money after spending most of money that is allotted in the budgets. They start to get loans to cater for the rest of the gardening journey, because they have an honest desire to see the expected harvests coming out. But the unexpected costs keep coming up. You keep spending more than expected, you're drained of all your capital money, and even at the end of the harvests, you don't even have the harvest that you anticipated to come out of your garden. The quality is lower, the harvests are little. You also have nowhere to sell your produce, because at the start you also need to also grow from the market. You don't know where to find your buyers, and if you found them, you don't know what they really need. So you just wasted your time, you wasted your money, you wasted your energy over what was never needed growing at first. So I remember the first time I grew tomatoes for a client 3 years ago, 3 years ago. We had a great harvest, but we didn't know where to sell what we had. Most of the tomatoes we were rotting in the store because we didn't have access to the markets. Even the market that was close to us, having reached out to them, we didn't have the set required of standards they wanted us to have for their tomatoes. So we didn't sell that much. We sold a few of the tomatoes. It was really a very painful experience for me starting out as a consultant, because after all the hard work, we ended up with nothing. And most farmers don't ask themselves this question, and I believe you should be serious to ask yourself this question if you are a serious farmer. How should I spend in a way that fits my budget? Because if you don't ask yourself such a question, you'll be going through those mistakes that I have shared above, that I really personally went through, that cost me a lot. Because let me tell you this truth, there is no perfect budget. The right budget is one that fits your practical experience, one that you've improved over time because of the different practices that you have done in your garden, one that you continue to improve because of the activities that you do within the growing journey. See, agriculture, like any other business, has risks. There are costs that will always come up beyond what you have budgeted for, and this can never be skipped. This is why a true budget plan is based on one that has a continuous improvement, not one event at a time. See, the unexpected costs that come up are usually catered for in the miscellaneous for most people's budget. They put a miscellaneous to cover for those unexpected costs in their budget. But if you don't know where these risks or costs are coming from and how to mitigate them, they will continue to compound even when the budget has them catered for. You may have a miscellaneous catered for them, but since you don't know their sources and how to reduce them in your garden, the expenses for them will continue to increase even when you have put them in a miscellaneous part for the budget. So when you know the sources of these risks in your garden, every time you encounter them, you find ways of how to deal with them to get your intended results in the garden. So I'm going to share 3 main sources of these hidden costs and how you can mitigate them, and let us share about the most important factor or a most important reducer in your business that will help you reduce these risks. That is market certainty. So let me share the first cost. The first cost is the cost of mistakes or skill gaps. So most beginner gardeners will make mistakes starting out. These mistakes always manifest as skill gaps. And this is truly understandable because you're pursuing something you've not done before. It is your first time doing this venture. And like they always say, there is a first time for everything. These costs you can never run away from. Usually, they can be overwhelming because the cost of not knowing how to do something can be so high. And the mistakes will compound, they keep like compounding, and each of them will be costly for you because you're a beginner farmer. They are the reason as to why most farmers will give up on their venture. You see, they escalate way too high than you expected for them to come out on in your business. Yeah, I remember in the loss that I made growing Irish potatoes for a client 2 years ago, I made these very, very many mistakes. I spent heavily on potatoes that were dying on of late blight beyond recovery. So I made these mistakes also partly when I was starting growing Irish potatoes for a client way back, and the losses were very, very big. I nearly gave up on this venture, but I realized this one thing, that your first season is not for excitement, it is for learning. So you need to try out the next seasons to see whether you've improved in the growing skill or whether your harvests are actually becoming better and better. I realized that the biggest solution to such costs, the costs of our mistakes and skill gaps, is to give yourself time to master the skill of vegetable gardening. Agriculture is a skill to learn. It's not just about growing, it's a skill that you need to learn. So you need 3 growing seasons for you to become good at growing the vegetable that you want to grow or you desire to grow. That is, if you take the right measures and procedures, like I always share. The first season is usually for learning. You implement what works, you implement what has been told you. Go do as you have been told in your first season. And then in the next season, use the next seasons second season to improve in your gaps, to work out the things that you don't know, the things that we are lacking in your first season. Then the third season, I call it the stability season. That is when now you start to stabilize in growing the vegetable crop that you are growing. Yes, I share more of these things in my beginner's guide. Get it in the link in the description. The link is there to the guide. It will help you in the different things on how you can master the vegetable crop that you want to grow from start to finish, and the different activities that are involved that you need to know, that you make informed decisions when you're growing. So for you to avert this cost of, or reduce the cost of the mistakes that you will make, you need to be patient and learn the different skills that are involved in agriculture. Work on your gaps, work on your different things that you don't know in agriculture, so that you're able to improve and go forward. But there are 3 important skills you need to master for your vegetable garden to be a success. The first one is management, and of course I've shared about management in very many of the past videos, and of course even in my newsletter articles about how to do management very well. And management comes of course in 2. It comes in good agricultural practices and labor management. When you have good agricultural practices, you're able to go through master your vegetable gardening way faster. When you also, then number 2, in management, we have labor management. When your team is educated, right, when your team is skilled in growing the vegetable that you want, you'll be able to get the results that you want. So that's the first one, was management, and management has those 2. The next one is crop protection. Crop protection is how you protect your crops from diseases. When you master crop protection in your garden, just know you're good. Then the last one is nutrition, how you feed your crops. When you master how you feed your crops, it will give you the best output that you desire. So you need to master those 3 skills for you to reduce on the cost of skills: management, crop protection, and nutrition. So let's go to the next one. Next cost that will help, that many farmers are are facing, and you need to know where this cost comes from and how to mitigate it. And that is the cost of abrupt weather changes that happen in your garden. So no individual farmer can manipulate the weather to fit their garden. Only we are all at the mercy of the prevailing weather conditions that come through in our garden. So when a strong wind comes through your area, it will sweep almost every person's garden within that area, and does not only affect some gardens. Every person is affected by an adverse weather condition. So this eventually turns out into losses in your gardens. But some extreme weather can even lead to dominance of diseases within your gardens. For example, in cold conditions of weather, there are high risks of fungal infections that affect our gardens. So in such states, farmers tend to spray more for diseases, increasing the costs that are channeled towards disease mitigation. So we have no control on weather changes, like I've said, as individual farmers, but we can reduce the effects in our gardens that to levels that are not so harmful to our profits as farmers. So the greatest mistake most farmers or posts make is to put measures after problems have occurred. They wait for their gardens to have very many problems, then they start to put measures in their gardens. So let me tell you this truth. It costs way more for you to control something or an event than to prevent it. You spend a lot of money when you're controlling something than you spend to prevent it. So in extreme weather changes, or when you have when you anticipate or a forecast that you're going to be facing such weather, you need to be vigilant. You need to set up necessary measures that help you reduce the effects, so that you're not controlling more, but you at least are preventing the effects or reducing the effects of extreme weather changes in your garden. So in preparation for dry weather conditions, these are the things you need to do. Mulch heavily on your crops. Make sure you have a heavy mulch. Number 2, have an assured source of irrigation, so that you plan for adverse dry conditions. Have an assured source of water for irrigation. The next is plant resistant varieties of crops, so that you are ready for those dry weather conditions. The other thing is spray for pests. Pests are what cause diseases, what carry diseases in our gardens. So when we see dry weather conditions or hot weather conditions, expect to have pests in your garden. So in case of flooding or heavy rain conditions, plant your crops on raised beds, or spray for fungal diseases early enough, so that you're not doing it when the fungal diseases are already spread in your garden. The other thing is mulch to prevent erosion. Mulch, like I shared, maybe for the first point of dry weather conditions, even in heavy conditions of weather, mulch to prevent erosion of the topsoil, so that you keep your soils fertile. So for strong winds, consider having wind breaks in your garden. Plant trees on the sides to prevent those heavy losses when your gardens to prevent those heavy losses and in your gardens being destroyed. So your costs will remain high if you're not anticipating and planning for these abrupt weather changes. You see? So of course, it's not an assured 100% that when we put these techniques that they'll do you 100% mitigation measures, but they will reduce at least the costs that you'll incur by abrupt weather changes by some extent. So the other cost that many farmers don't know, not plan for, is the cost on security. And it's the last cost that I'm going to share about. See, nothing hurts farmers than people who are so ready to sow where they don't reap. You see, in communities where we stay and where we grow our crops, there are individuals that are waiting for you to put in your hard work into your garden just to come and do the harvest for you. And by that I mean they come to steal your crop, your harvests when you've done the hard work. So if you don't plan for such people, they will make you go into heavy losses. Remember, all your energy will have been wasted to do your very best in going for the community, for them to just come and consume for free. Remember, you started this vegetable garden as a business and not for charity. So you'll need to put up measures in your garden that increase the safety of your harvests. So you need to put measures that are available to you, like fencing. If you can hire security dogs, please put a security dog in your garden. Or if you can put on-farm workers to be on the farm or in your garden always, you can also do that. Or put any other security measure that you see that is convenient and available where you are. But you need to make sure your crops at harvest are secure. Typically in Africa here, we have very many thieves, people who are ready to harvest for us before we harvest for ourselves. So you need to be on a lookout and plan for those costs, so that you're not making losses, people stealing your harvests. So let's look at now market certainty. How do you make sure you have market? Because you're growing for profit, and the profits will reduce many of your costs. So let's look at how we come up with market certainty. The trick to sustaining a farm and prospering is to understand the entire growing process and supply chain. So not understanding only the growing process, is not understanding the supply chain. Who buys your produce after you have harvested? So with the above hidden costs that I've shared, one aspect that reduces the overall cost is to have money on the farm to continue catering for those costs. So for the start, our capital money is the source of the funds to run the business. It's your savings from your salary. So some people get loans from credit institutions like banks, money lenders. So that is usually your start capital. Some people also get like grants. You get a grant, you have a proposal, you get a grant, people support your business at the start. And so irrespective of that capital source that you've got or you've chosen to get the money from, with time, the garden should be able to cater for those costs. You should be able to plan on how you're going to sustain the costs that will eventually come up in your garden. This is a sustainable plan you need to always consider. Otherwise, you'll continue spending more money to a garden that is not giving you back from time to time. So the biggest mistake most farmers are, of course, making this is that they don't start to grow from the market, and they grow what they like and not what the market around them likes. As you are a serious farmer and you want that you want to set yourself from such kind of farmers that are ignorant, you need to know where to sell your produce before you start to grow. Don't be like those farmers that are doing those mistakes. You need to know where to sell your produce before you go. So you need to plan before. So this is where your incomes that will sustain the garden in the long run will have to come from. That is your markets. So if, for example, if you go to start maybe growing tomatoes, go to the market and ask a few questions. Ask them what kind of tomatoes they buy. Ask them in what quantities do they buy those tomatoes. Do they buy from middlemen or they buy directly from farmers? What prices do they usually charge for the tomatoes they buy? When is the peak season for the tomatoes? And know which kind of harvest index these people buy. Do they buy tomatoes when they're ripe? Do they buy when they are nearly ripe? Or they don't buy or they buy when tomatoes are not ripe at all. So you need to understand the nature of your market before you go and start planting a vegetable that you want to do. I've just given an example for tomatoes. The same questions can be asked for any other vegetable that you want to really go. Well, sometimes these vendors that we go to sell, sometimes they have an associations they work with, and they don't buy from anyone. So you go to sell, and at the end you don't know who to sell your produce to. Or sometimes they have like specific people they buy from that come to their market, and they've already made like contracts with those people. So you need to know the nature of association that these vendors have with the people they get their produce from to sell to. So you can also make a contract with these people in case you also want to be their customer, selling them your produce. So I've realized 4 different sources that can help you find your market as a a farmer is going to grow out, so that you're not fidgeting on your journey. So number one people that you can go to before you sell, before you start growing your vegetable is fellow farmers that are around you. These are fellow gardeners growing the same vegetable that you're growing and are within the same region where you desire to grow your intended vegetable crop. So such people have been in the growing business for some good time and know the different ups and downs that are involved in the vegetable that you want to grow. Since they are thriving in the same, they know where to sell the produce. They know how much, what the price is, where they sell. They know in what quantities they sell their produce. So if they're willing to help you out, please go out and ask them how they're doing the different things that they're doing. Where do they sell their produce from? So don't start until at least search around your area and know which farmer is growing the same vegetable that you're growing, and ask them for the market information that you need to know. There are people that can help you know your market are the farmer communities that are online. So these are groups growing the same vegetable, but they exist online. So they can include like WhatsApp groups, Facebook groups, or any other social groups that exist there on online. So they are usually sharing information on how to grow better. They're asking themselves questions on how each one does they are growing, and they keep on learning from each other. So these people can have information to where you can sell your produce, or even themselves could be the potential market for your produce. So go make good use of them. Things have changed. In our generation, things have changed. You can access the market even online, even in your social account. So the place you can find your markets before you start to grow is the food markets. So you need to find around your area which food markets are there, and go and ask those vendors. Get information from them. Go do the work yourself. Go to the vendors themselves in the market and really sit down and ask them questions of like I said, the different questions: what price they are selling, in what quantities are they selling, who are their usual customers, what type of customers are they buying from, what type of tomatoes do they require? Do they require high or ripe tomatoes? Do they require nearly ripe, or do you require tomatoes that are not even ripe yet? So you need to know like the food markets that are present in your area, so that you find out how they sell and in what quantities they sell. So the last place where you can find your markets are through the agricultural input sellers. These are people who sell inputs to farmers. They sell seeds, they sell fertilizers, they sell pesticides, gumboots, and all those different inputs that are needed on the farm. So usually these people have information from the farmers they sell to, and they can really help you to find information about the market for the vegetable crop you want to grow. So reach out to them also and ask them a few questions. But if they don't have the information that is relevant for market information, of course, you can still look out to the other three other sources for market information. So don't be a farmer who's not growing from the market. Don't make that mistake like I did some time back. Alright, otherwise, thank you for watching this video. Be keen to watch out those hidden costs, and please plan for them. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.